What's that?
Aha! I get the bell this time. Means this is Chip Chat. That's what this is. I'm sorry, everybody. This is Chip Chat. That's what I mean to say. Welcome to Chip Chat. I'm Chip. Tez is not here this week. He's at a fundraiser for work, which I think means he's playing golf and reading like a nerd. Which means that Charlie is here.
Hello.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Mike or Chip.
Yeah, whatever. Charlie's been involved in the show for a really long time, far too long if you ask him. Go ahead and ask him.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think my first appearance on here was like 2015, I think.
That could be. That was like our first season.
Yeah.
You've been around a long time.
Yeah. He desperately came to me going, I need something to fill time.
Yes. Well, Charlie can fill a lot of things. So, anyway, this week we have an interview also with one of our other former guests who's been on this show.
Really?
Yes. He's an expert on things in Florida. So, they've just gone through this hurricane and all that stuff.
Really? Is it an alligator on an ATV?
Yes. No. He's actually, but his next door neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was next to the guy. Okay.
You probably know him. So, but we're not going to reveal who it is until a little bit later. It's going to be very exciting reveal.
Obviously.
That's actually going to be 2 weeks in a row that we've had Florida-based guests.
Wow.
Because last week we had the folks from One Fresh Pillow. They're based in Tallahassee, which was
those poor people.
Yeah, weirdly spared by the hurricane, but
the whole panhandle was spared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This hurricane seemed to have figured out how to miss the two parts of Florida that people know about. Miami and the part that's in Alabama. Anyway, we also have news about cousin Herschel. He's having a tough week.
Oh man, you mean the walking talking ad for CTE awareness?
Yeah, I like we're going to talk about this sort of thing, but I like that the excuse is like, look, he's had a lot of concussions, so we should make him senator.
Yeah, so we should put him in the Senate.
I don't know. It's working for Tuberville. We've got coup news, and we're going to talk about the Emmys. We have our own Emmy right here.
That's right, yeah.
That's a real Emmy. Ish.
Yeah.
It weighs the same as a real Emmy.
It's, just don't let the TV Academy know that.
That's right. They don't know. That's okay. None of them watch this show. Okay, and I don't know, a bunch of other stuff is going to happen.
All right.
Do you have a word for tonight? He's thinking about it.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I trust that you've got a word.
Yes.
Okay. So, sit back, grab some
illegitimate children.
It's insect time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Ripped Radio Network. Chip Chat here on Rip Radio Network. I'm your host, Chip. With me tonight is Charlie.
Hello.
All right, so now we've come to the part of the show called the Rundown, where we're going to tell you about some stuff that's gone on in the news. That's for Tez. He really likes that thing.
I can imagine.
Okay, here's what we want to talk about. There's this thing called the government.
Mildly familiar.
You've heard about it.
I think I had a class on that in high school.
So, it's good if it still runs. We would like it to not shut down.
Usually, yes.
Yeah, it keeps the trains running on time, the airplanes from crashing, various things going on. The food being inspected, libraries, I guess.
The parks being not gone to.
Yeah, right. No, people are going now because they learned during COVID they could go outside, cuddle a bison. So anyway, yeah. So the government was like, hey, we're about to run out of money. Congress, can you please reappropriate us some more money? And Congress has yet to pass a budget in like 6 or 7 years. They're just doing this thing called...
No, they haven't done that since the Obama administration.
I think they did pass the Trump budget because this is what we're on the CR for.
Oh, okay.
So what they do is they pass what's called a CR, a continuing resolution, which says just keep everything the same. Don't change it.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. But sometimes they add things onto the CRs because they're like must-pass bills, and usually they're not super controversial.
Yeah.
So, what would they add? Well, like, for example, they added $12 billion in aid to Ukraine. Well, that makes sense. They're in the middle of a war. We've been sending them billions of dollars. We need to keep doing that. Like, who's going to vote against that? As it turned out, it passed the Senate with 72 votes. So, like, this was pretty popular. I don't know who those 25 assholes were who... Well, I do know.
I can assure you that Rand Paul and Ron Johnson were two of them.
Ron Johnson thinks Ukraine is a town outside of Racine. So he has no idea. Anyway.
Soon to be a third-term senator.
Yeah, maybe. Well, let's see. Mandela could beat him.
No, he's going to win.
He's going to win. Yeah. And if he doesn't, he's going to violently overthrow whoever does. So they were like, all right, we're going to do this. And then, in the House, they were like, well, we're going to do this CR too. Hey, this hurricane just happened.
We need to put aid in.
We need some money for Florida because they are currently Florida.
Yeah.
Like flooded.
Yeah, like that whole part of Key West is now cut off.
Yeah, well, Sanibel Island and like a bunch of stuff is just gone. Mm-hmm. So they're like, here's what we'll do. We'll tack on a couple $1 billion. I think it was like $8 billion. It was a lot of money. It was more than that. No, it was a lot.
That was specifically for heating and utility assistance.
Yeah. But they wanted to give Florida $18.8 billion in hurricane aid,
which Florida
seems like a lot.
Yeah, no, it seems like a good amount.
I mean,
they'll give more.
Yeah, but that's like the first rush of funds.
Yeah,
got to get the Waffle Houses open.
Oh God, yeah.
It's Florida after all.
Florida,
okay. It's America.
Yes. So, as you know, the Waffle House is the great predictor of weather disasters. There is the Waffle House Index, run by Craig Fugate, former FEMA administrator. That's a real thing. I'm not making any of that up. So they're like, all right, we're going to send Florida $18.8 billion, almost $19 billion. But somebody voted against this. Who voted against it, Charlie?
I'm going to in the House or the Senate?
In the House.
In the House? Oh, I have a feeling it might be someone named Matt Gaetz.
Yes. And the other 15 Republicans from that state.
Every one of them?
All 200 Republicans in the entire House voted against
including
the CR.
The ones that represent Miami? Well,
including,
they don't.
What? Including the ones from Florida. Now, cynically, of course, we all understand what's going on. They know this is going to pass no matter what. It's got the votes because the Democrats have the majority.
And those Florida districts are insanely gerrymandered now, so they don't care.
And they get to say, look, we voted against wasteless government spending. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, against saving our own asses. I have no idea is there no justice in the world? If you vote against funding for your own people, what should happen?
Especially those areas like I-4 corridor.
Yeah.
And those are Republican areas.
Yeah.
Outside in the suburbs of Orlando and Tampa, those are Republican areas. I mean, I guess they just are like they just are going to rely on some massive GoFundMe or something.
Well, they're going to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, which were unfortunately washed away by
the damn thing.
Yeah, I don't know why it seems like it's an okay. First of all, why do you want to be on record voting against funding the government or Ukraine or yourselves? But also, like, how does this campaign, we're in the middle of the midterm campaigns. Like, these guys are running in mostly safe seats, but it does seem like a very obvious campaign ad where you show that person and their vote against Florida funding.
And some very sympathetic white couple going, we lost everything.
Right, yeah, some old white couple wearing a Florida cracker shirt like the one that Joe Biden was hanging out with.
Those pictures of Biden from Florida, man. That's why I love the man. That's why I love the man.
Look, if you want somebody who can relate...
He went to the one guy, he said, no one fucks with a Biden.
Yeah, that's right. He goes, no one fucks with a Biden. And the guy goes, damn right they don't. It was in Fort Myers. It was the mayor of Fort Myers.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so he goes, he's over there by the mayor of Fort Myers, and he's like, Mr. President, thank you for, coming down and getting the aid. And we know that things have been really tough or whatever for you politically with these guys and all that stuff. And he goes, look, nobody fucks with a Biden, all right? And then, and you're like, people
that's the Joe we know and love.
That's the guy, right? That's the ice cream and aviators kind of dude.
That's Diamond Joe Biden.
So when people are like, oh, well, Trump talks like me and that's the kind of guy I want. First of all, no, he doesn't. Nobody talks like that. That's fucking, Trump is nuts.
Only Autotext talks like that.
Right. But Biden really does talk like a regular person. But then, like, when the cameras are on and stuff, he tries to modulate it and look kind of presidential or senatorial or whatever. But, like, it's very clear that he's still, like, Joey B. from Scranton. Like, and he'll always be Joey B. from Scranton. Underneath all of this stuff and the slick back hair and all that stuff, he's still that guy who's like, me and what was the guy's name? Like Shoeshine. We went
Corn
at it.
Pop.
Yeah, Corn Pop. Corn Pop was a bad dude, and I fucked him up. Like, that's just who he is, man. All right, so Florida voted against funding their own selves. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called the permitting reform that the Democrats added on here a poison pill, but Joe Manchin was like, listen, Mitch, you'll still get your coal. Don't worry. And so then Mitch was like,
he'll still shit it out of his insanely tight ass.
Yes. So, look, if Joe Manchin's going to vote for it, then the rest of the Republicans will also vote for it.
As well as Republican Zoe Deschanel, Kirsten Sinema.
That's hilarious.
Cannot forget her.
Yes.
She's quirky.
Yes, that's hilarious. Moving on from one branch of government to the other two. This story is called Orange Supreme. So, as you probably know, that guy who used to be president, who thinks that he might still be president, but also might be trying to run for what I guess he thinks is his third term in 2024. Who knows what Q's saying these days.
That was never his strong suit.
Yeah. Neither were his suits. So, you remember what happened? The FBI came to visit him. They found a bunch of our stuff. Oh my God,
what is all of this? What is all of this radioactive glowing documents that you have right here?
Yeah, why do you have these and they don't belong to you? And it says,
if glowing, return to National Archives.
And so the FBI went to Mar-a-Lago and found all of our shit in his, closet of all places.
Or in his desk or something.
Yeah, laying around.
Was he doing the thing from the pilot of Arrested Development when George Sr.'s going, no, save it, shred it, shred it, save it?
Well, actually, yes. One of the weird things, this wasn't exactly the story that I wanted to tell everybody about, but one of the weird things that we learned this week that I would have bet very heavily against is that Trump himself packed the boxes and that Trump himself directed his lawyers on which things to give back to the archives the first time when they gave back some of the stuff, and that he told them to lie about it. Now, that part I already believed. But the surprising part of this story...
I'm surprised that he has any lawyers after asking them to lie.
Well, as it turns out, that's also a bit of a problem for him. He's down to a very few. But that he packed the boxes seems completely incredulous for two reasons. One, that's physical effort. Not a thing Donald Trump does.
No, moving fucking sucks. Every step of moving sucks. And all of it is because of how much effort you have to put into it.
Right.
And so, and believe me, if it's something that I hate doing, Trump's going to avoid it at all costs.
Absolutely. I think everybody hates moving.
Oh, moving sucks.
So the other thing is that, I have been thinking for the longest time, and I still am pretty convinced of this, that he has no fucking idea what's in these documents. These things, I have never seen a SCIF document, but I can guess based on everything else I know about government documents and specifically defense documents. These things are riddled with alphabet soup. It's probably inscrutably difficult to figure out what these things are really talking about, like from a glance. It's not a thing you could quickly take a peek at and be like, all right, this is useful or not.
It's something ultra specific.
Yeah, and it's going to reference things that are in footnotes that need other documents to make clear. Like, they are not easily it's not looking at the back of a cereal box. You know, it's no quick facts there. So I have been convinced that for the longest time that if anything valuable did end up packed in these boxes and schlepped off to Mar-a-Lago, which apparently it did, somebody who actually knows how the government works and how the Defense Department and how the intelligence apparatus works had to be the one to tell him what to put in the boxes, or maybe pack them on his own.
It seems like just so random that he would have these specific documents. And that's what I've always wondered, is how did he come to choose these documents?
Well, as it turns out, we got a little bit of clarity on that. Like I said, I guess that there had to be somebody else. What apparently one of the things we learned from Maggie Haberman's book is that John Kelly and some of the others were routinely worried about recovering anything classified that was put in front of Trump, because as a habit, he would ask to see something and then stick it in his desk.
Or tweet it. Or
show it to people at his club or whatever. But my guess is that he was not choosing exactly, except based on the cover sheet. So if he saw it had an SCI on it, he would stick it in the box.
Sounds about right.
And so then when it was time to go put them in the box, he had them all in his desk drawer, and he was just like, yep, throw them all in the box. And that was what he did. But then when it turned out that, like, he was directly involved in the which ones are we going to give back to the archives and pretend that was all we took, that's a little more crafty than I would have given him any credit for. And I'm a little, frankly, surprised that he had enough understanding to really discern which of these things to keep and which ones to give back.
No, it's surprising. It's very surprising.
It can't be, right? He's got to have had help.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's Pompeo.
Pompeo makes a lot of sense.
Right? He's a West Point guy. He's an Army guy. He was head of CIA for a while.
And then the Secretary of State. It just makes perfect sense.
He would know what's worth keeping and what's not. He's probably seen half of these documents anyway, so he would recognize them right away. I think it was Pompeo.
I was at a restaurant once, and I saw Newt Gingrich and Mike Pompeo and Callista having dinner together.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Were they eating the snake head with the head on, or did they eat just the fins?
I'm not sure what they ordered. I couldn't see, but I didn't think it was Mike Pompeo at first because he wasn't fat enough.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's lost a lot of weight.
He's lost weight, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all gone into Newt Gingrich's jowls.
That's hilarious. Yes. It's because Pompeo's going to run for something.
That man doesn't run.
You want to know what's hilarious is that technically Greg Abbott is running for re-election, although I kind of doubt it.
I really wish that Beto would put out an ad saying "Stand up for what's right."
Right. No, that's what he should. Stand up for Texas.
Because that's exactly what Trump would have done.
Well, somebody asked, why has he not gone to meet with the parents from Uvalde? Mm-hmm. And I know the answer. Steps. So anyway, Orange Julius was like, hey, they seized my documents. They're not your documents, you idiot. And so
I believe it says on them property of the Department of Defense.
Yeah, or whatever, U.S. government.
No takesy-backsies.
Yes. So he wanted a special master. He found the judge that he recently found in a Cracker Jack box and made her a judge. There she is, Aileen Cannon. I have no idea who she is. Nobody else seems to know either.
I think she might have been...
she was one of the Miss Universe pageant people, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, he goes to her and he's like, get me a special master. Emphasis on master. She's like, sure, I'll make up some word salad. We'll call it a judicial ruling. And boom, he got it. It goes to the 11th Circuit.
And it was a Reagan-appointed judge who was a special master, right?
Yes. The guy that they selected was Trump's guy that they picked. His name is Raymond Dearie. He was a FISA court judge for a while, so he's experienced with these sort of like really high security things.
Unlike many of Trump appointees, he actually has legal experience.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's in his late 70s. He's still working in New York, in Brooklyn. So he's not like a dummy or anything like that. But anyway, so the the documents are going to go to him to sort through, which the FBI is like, fine, go ahead and sort them. We already did it with the filter team. You're going to come up with the same answers. We already know how this works. But the DOJ went to the 11th Circuit and said, we don't think that this word salad constitutes a judicial order. And the 11th Circuit, with a 3-judge panel, 2 of which Trump himself appointed, was like, this is bullshit. Like, directly threw it out. They even included in their ruling something like directly admonishing Cannon and saying, we don't know how you got to be a judge, but you need to go back to like English 101. You haven't even made it to pre-law. You're so far off the mark.
There are not many instances of feeling good with Trump appointed judges, but there's a special good feeling
when they strike his own shit down.
It was just like during the election bullshit that he was doing, when his own judges were saying, "Get the fuck out of here."
When Kavanaugh was like, "Come on, dude. But the reason I bring
you promised beer,
right? The reason I bring up Beer Can Brett though is because you may remember in the case that Beer Can Brett did get to join in the majority, it was 8-1 about whether some of this stuff was admissible or whatever the fuck he was doing. Who was that one? You remember?
My guess is it was probably either Clarence Thomas or Alito.
No, it was Clarence, neighbor Clarence, and his wife, neighbor Ginny, who live around the corner from me. They, and I'm saying they now because I'm no longer separating the two of them in their decisions. They are an entity.
It's like the Clintons.
Yes, exactly. So guess who is in charge of reviewing rulings from the 11th Circuit?
Who?
The Thomases. And so Trump, in his infinite geniusness, stable genius, appealed the ruling of the 11th Circuit to the Supreme Court on the shadow docket. Mm-hmm. This is an emergency appeal. Now, a number of things about this. There's the what could happen. Let's go through that very quickly. And then there's the, what did he have to say in this appeal? In the what could happen, one, Thomas could just knock it back and say, this is preposterous. The 11th Circuit's ruling stands. There's no conflict here. I don't have anything to say about this. There's nothing there. One. Two, he could try to, schedule it for a hearing on the merits and get it in front of the court within this term, which, can happen on the shadow docket, or it could happen in the real docket, possibly. Three, he could do nothing. He could just sit on this.
Which is what he normally does.
Because he can't read. So it's just that's true. It's just gonna sit. That's one of the things that he could do is just let it sit. He could not rule yay or nay. He could not forward it on to the rest of the court. It could literally just sit there. But if that does, DOJ is going to continue on because that's the important thing I want to talk about. When they sent up this appeal, remember we talked about how Trump doesn't really have any lawyers left?
Yeah.
All right, they filed like a 30-page appeal. Oh, we have a call? That's extremely unlikely. Why? Nope, they left. Good.
We have our first call, and I mean ever, because this is not a call-in show.
Yeah, although technically Brian put up the numbers. We're not inviting callers. I don't know why you think that we care about your opinions. But, all right, so like in this 30 pages, it includes them talking about the documents that Trump had in his possession. So that seems like a bit of an admission. Remember how he said that the FBI planted him?
Oh, yeah.
They also would not say in this whether he did or did not declassify these documents, which he keeps talking about, which Judge Deary said you need to put up or shut up. But the 11th Circuit said was a red herring because it didn't matter whether they were declassified or not. They weren't his property and he shouldn't have had them regardless.
Yeah.
Like, that's his own judges wrote that. So it's fantastic. But he also, like, in this thing, he's the plaintiff. Again, he is asking for relief. He is saying that they took something from him that should be returned to him. But he isn't saying that the Justice Department should have to stop their investigation going through on this because he can't make that case in court because of the national security aspect to it. So even if he did get what he is asking for as the plaintiff in this case, all he's going to get is a delay and they're still going to be able to do the investigation while they're delayed. So it's like, this is written by my 6-year-old.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's almost, the idiocy of all of it is staggering.
It is. But it's sort of in line with everything else, that there's this sort of theory in Trump world that if something has been filed in court, it's therefore valid or true.
Yeah.
Which I would point to something that The Onion did this week.
Oh my God.
Is that not brilliant or what?
That is...
So they filed... Actually, this thing goes back to like 1996 or something like that. But when, there's a question of whether satire is legitimate or not, whether it's protected speech.
And what type of satire is allowed under the First Amendment. Yeah.
So The Onion, which is everybody's favorite fake newspaper,
America's finest news source.
That's right. Filed an amicus brief saying basically that not only are they the greatest newspaper with the most Pulitzers or whatever, they employ 530,000 people and they've won every award on the planet. They've been in business for 6,300 years.
They go, and this is why satire needs to be protected.
Right. It was really, really funny. But the Trump filings read a little bit like that.
Well,
they're self-congratulatory and just ranting.
So many things about this, are feel like that.
Yeah,
it's just bizarre.
So, what do you think is a likely outcome here?
Oh God, I have no clue. I mean, I kind of think that maybe it'll be something that. It'll probably be something that's in a report, and he'll downplay it, and some people and some liberals were like, "We got him," and it's like, no, that's not happening.
I think neighbor Clarence is going to sit on it.
That's the one that wouldn't surprise me.
But if he does sit on it, it means that the 11th Circuit's ruling stands.
Yeah, that's
so then the investigation continues, and he doesn't get his shit back,
and it's just going to get more crazy. And we're going to find out things that we never even, as always, that we never even imagined we would be saying.
Like that Donald Trump is threatening to kill Mitch McConnell with his China wife.
With his China wife.
Yeah, he did. He wrote it. He wrote the...
I'll eat Mitch McConnell. Like corn on the cob.
I never thought that there would be an alliance between Ojeda and Trump. But, they both hate Mitch.
Well, a lot of people
hate Mitch. Yeah, I know. I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. Is that because of everything that has happened with since this, insane backwards Harlequin romance novel that we've been living in since 2015. I feel like it's just best not to even try to predict, because you just got to take it as it comes along.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. And especially because his people and their weird self-insulating conspiracies are totally immune to anything that happens. Mm-hmm. If you go, oh, well, what about all the lawsuits that he lost in court? And they're like, well, where'd you hear that? The media? And we're like, no, the judges issued rulings. Well, what kind of judges? The ones he appointed. Well, where did you see the rulings? Well, the court publishes them. Well, there you go. Of course, the court's going to publish.
Well, if you believe that,
yeah, it's great. I mean, nothing's.
And now I'm just going to go back to my consortium of 9/11 truther lawyers.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't think even they're taking the case anymore. Okay,
if you lose the truthers, man.
Yeah. Well, if JFK Jr. still hasn't shown up in Dallas, I just don't think it's going to happen. Sorry, Q idiots.
There's always next time.
There's always a chance. They're like the Cubs,
Well, the truth is just that it actually happened.
The Cubs eventually did win the World Series.
It actually did happen.
Yeah, it did happen. But, for most of our lives.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Cousin Herschel, because this story just keeps getting more insane. You couldn't imagine anything more ridiculous except for what we were just talking about. So you're listening to Chip Chat here on Rip Radio Network. to Chip Chat here on Rip Radio Network. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Charlie.
Hey there.
All right, so now we need to talk about something. This segment is entitled Politics, Not Policy. The reason that it's entitled that is we want to be clear about a couple of things. We're about to talk about somebody having an abortion. And it might sound like we're being critical of this person for having the abortion. That is not the case.
She has it was ultimately her decision.
Yes. And we might also sound like what we're talking about is the decision-making process and whether it was like a legitimate decision. And we want to be very clear from the absolute outset of this. This is not actually our business. We don't care that this happened. This is not about what happened. We don't care about that. She can have the abortion. She can not have the abortion. She can have 100 abortions. It does not matter. We don't care. What we want to talk about is the people involved who definitely paid for and put her up to this, who are virulently, publicly at least,
to take away that right
from other people. Yes. Now, it is not a stretch to say, and I've said it on this show before, to a man, and literally to a man, every single elected Republican official has at one point or another paid for or asked a girlfriend or wife or mistress or somebody to have an abortion. As 100%
The only one I was actually sure of it
Lindsey Graham even
was Trump, because I'm like, those receipts are there.
Yeah, but you know that those women were also on their way without his urging.
Yeah.
So just let's be absolutely clear about this. So let's set the stage. There is a guy running for Senate in Georgia named Herschel Walker
against incumbent Democrat
Reverend Dr. Raphael Warnock,
pastor of the Ebenezer Baptist Church,
which was Martin Luther King's church.
Yep.
Okay. Herschel is running against Reverend Warnock, Senator Reverend Warnock. He's got too many titles. Senator Warnock.
We need to be just like, it's like, what are your which title? We're just going to pick one and stick with it.
Senator Warnock. He's running against him. Now, Herschel Walker's main claim to fame, of course, is that he was a Heisman Trophy winner at University of Georgia. And
then a mediocre pro football player.
Played for the Oilers for a little while.
Played for the Oilers. Oh, well,
he was an Olympian, too. He was on the bobsled team.
No, and most notably, was a player on the short-lived New Jersey Generals.
That's right, which was in the Trump-owned USFL.
Yep, and that was that was the specific team that he owned.
That's right. So that's important. All right. So cousin Herschel is running. His main political claim to fame is that he is a very staunch Christian conservative.
Yes,
which is a nice way of saying white supremacist, misogynist.
Which for a lot of athletes is not that uncommon.
Right. There is a push by the right-wing evangelicals to infiltrate all of the pillars of society, and athletics is definitely one of them, and they have worked very hard.
Christian athletes.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yep.
We've covered that about the idiot praying on the field and all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that another time. One of the things that he is really adamant about is that he is against any and all abortions, with no exceptions.
No exceptions.
He's very clear about that there's no exceptions. No rape or incest, health or safety of the mother, nothing. Anytime it happens, it is bad, and he wants it to be a capital offense. He wants it to be murder.
Yeah.
He's pretty clear about that.
Now, murder for the physician, the mother,
everybody involved, and the people who drove her there, and whatever else.
And those are accessories.
Yeah, and if you were at Dairy Queen when she stopped for an ice cream on the way, that you're going to jail.
It wasn't on the way; it's afterwards. You need that.
You need ice cream, sure. Yeah. No, hey, whatever. Your ice cream, your choice, not my.
Your Blizzard, your choice.
That's right. Whatever you want in it, as long as you tip it over.
Well, no, that they
doesn't count otherwise.
No, of course not.
So anyway. Herschel Walker is anti-abortion. He's also weirdly anti-absentee fathers. One of his big things is screaming at black men for being absentee fathers.
Yep.
Turns out He's all of those things.
It's a bit of a thing, yeah.
It's a bit of a thing. He's got at least 4 kids that we know about that he didn't tell anybody about until
including his campaign.
Yeah.
When they blatantly asked him, he lied to them.
Well, or there's now some of this that's kind of trickling out where they're all like, well, we knew about this, but...
Oh, they're trying to cover their asses here.
Yeah, but they're saying, like, we knew about it, but we didn't think it was going to come out. Well, if you knew about it, it's going to come out, you idiot. So he's anti-absentee father. Turns out he's an absentee father. He's
Several times over.
Several times over. He's also very anti-abortion. Well, wouldn't you want to guess what it turns out we found out about Herschel Walker this week?
That he's going to sue the Daily Beast?
He's going to try. He's going to lose. That he
paid for one of his girlfriends to have one. Encouraged her to have it, first of all.
Yes.
It was ultimately her decision, but he was the one that instigated. Very reminiscent of, remember that the congressman, I think he's still a congressman, Scott DeJarle?
Yeah.
From Tennessee, who was an OBGYN, he was either an OBGYN or physician, who had affairs with his patients. Yep. First of all, whoa, very
come on,
wrong.
Why else do you become an OB?
That is very wrong.
Somebody should check on Ron Paul.
And then when several of them got pregnant, he encouraged them to get to have an abortion
because he got them pregnant.
Exactly.
Right. So par for the course. Republican man gets woman pregnant, pays for her abortion. No big deal. It's a normal story, right? Can't prove it. How could you possibly prove it? It's not like you have receipts or anything.
You would need receipts, yeah.
What's the
maybe some bank deposit statements?
It's not like he sent her a card.
A get well after your abortion card. The new line of Hallmark cards.
Yeah, it's right there next to dads and grads. As it turns out, there's receipts.
Literal receipts.
Actual receipts from the patient and for the services that she received, and from him depositing stuff in her bank account, a check, and an actual get well card.
And images of the check from the deposit.
With his signature on it.
With his very distinctive signature.
So then, so the Daily Beast gets this story, and they run the story.
Yep.
And they're like, look, we've got all this stuff.
Yeah, Roger, I can't remember the reporter's name.
I don't know.
But he's a very good reporter. I was actually, on my way in here, I was listening to one of the Daily Beast podcasts.
He's not one of these guys who just throws mud. This is well researched.
He's also one of the people that uncovered a lot of, he's also the person who uncovered the secret children.
Right. So he's got a bit of an insight into the Herschel Walker world, such as it is. So, all right, so the story breaks, and everybody's like, yo, what's up with this? And Herschel Walker goes on Hannity, of all places, and Hannity's like, did you send this check to somebody? He's like, look, I send checks to a lot of people.
Oh, God, that was one of the greatest lines
And he's like,
I've ever
did you
heard.
send her a card? And he's like, I don't know. I probably send cards to a lot of people. And he's like, it looks like your signature.
But he did say that the story about the abortion is a flat-out lie.
He said it was a lie. He said he never met this woman and he didn't know who she was.
Who is also, in addition, is also the mother of one of his children.
That's what broke today. So now we're like, well, how can you, he says he doesn't know her. Maybe Herschel Walker meets a lot of people. He's kind of famous guy, whatever. Turns out he definitely knows this woman because they have a child together.
Well, there's also the possibility that Herschel Walker, as I said before, is a walking, talking ad for CTE awareness.
Barely talking.
I mean, the man can barely form a sentence.
For the very, first few months of his campaign, basically every appearance was him standing there and other people talking about him.
Oh, yeah.
Because him opening his mouth was a liability.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's opened his mouth, inserted several feet into it, and has continued to munch away on his own toes.
But maybe it's possible that because of the brain damage, he doesn't remember.
It is possible. So this is the thing we want to talk about. Politics, not policy here, right? What is the politics of this? Does this make him less electable? I mean, I already couldn't imagine
this.
There's this whole idea of suburban Republican women who, had voted had voted for Republicans before Dobbs' decision, and now in the face of actually losing reproductive rights are not going to do that anymore. And we've seen Kansas went 60-40, in favor of reproductive rights. Like, he was already probably unelectable in that group, or like not going to get any of those votes. But this is just skyrockets.
The problem is that Georgia is still in this very, very in between stage.
Yes, very much so.
We did have the Biden won it, and both
Ossoff and Warnock
Ossoff got elected.
And in runoffs too, no less.
In runoffs the day before January 6th.
Yep.
But it's as I say, it's like in this in between stage, and so it's very fluid, and it can literally go either way. And honestly, I think the GOP is so committed to this that it's not going to make a difference for them. It's still going to come down to the same independents, and so that's what's going to make this. And so this is still going to be a very, very tight contest.
I mean, you're definitely right that they're committed. What we found out like today or yesterday is that they are as committed to Herschel Walker as they are to killing endangered baby bald eagles.
Well, I mean, it's also
which is a direct quote.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also the problem is that. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
They're out there, like Newt Gingrich is out there saying, "I don't care if he did this. It's more important to win." And they're all saying this, that it doesn't matter. They're like, we have been raging against abortion for 50 years, and now, as it turns out, we're all culpable because they are all culpable. And they're like, we don't care about that. What we want to do is win. We never meant this stuff in the first place.
That's been their MO for years.
But now they're like directly saying it. Huckabee's out there telling everybody, he's like, I don't give a shit how many abortions he paid for as long as we win. And the NRA is out there saying he could murder all the bald eagles as long as we win.
Because it is destiny. It is divine destiny.
Because it's a tribal thing.
Well, and the thing about this, I remember what I was going to say. I remember what I was going to say. That you think about all these people, because there was a lot of hesitancy when Trump backed the idea of Walker running. There was a lot of hesitancy for a lot of people, including Mitch. I was very surprised that Mitch got on board the way he did.
Well, he didn't even really.
He formally endorsed him before the primary. I assumed that he was just going to wait.
Forced.
And so. You gotta be wondering, what's going on in those people's heads right now.
Is Herschel Walker the equivalent of Roy Moore for this cycle?
I don't.
Is he so abhorrent that he can't win?
I don't think he's at that level. I don't think he's at that level of abhorrence. I don't think he's at that level of abhorrence. By the way, when I flew out to Los Angeles while I was at National Airport, bumped into Doug Jones.
Did you really?
Yeah,
nice guy.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He's wonderful.
Question: There's sort of two politics questions here. The one is how much does this change the race in Georgia, which I think we've already discussed.
Fundamentally, it doesn't. It's still it was going to be a immensely tight race beforehand. It's still going to be an immensely tight race going into
the other question is, does this spur other women who have been in similar situations where Republican elected officials have paid for or encouraged them to have abortions? Does this get them to come forward and out these guys?
Possibly. I mean, there's a whole other issue especially with the way that Republicans have the way that conservatives go after people.
Yeah.
Which is what made this very surprising for this woman that she, and I'm sure that she's faced tons of harassment.
Well, I'm sure they figured out who she is, and the Nazis are marching on her lawn or whatever,
or they're making threatening phone calls and such.
Yeah,
there are some that they're going to have to determine whether they think it's worth it. And either way, I think that is their decision to make, because I cannot imagine how tough.
But there's got to be hundreds of these people.
Oh, there's got to be a good amount. I mean, there's got to be
hundreds and hundreds of them. We've got like Hockey Canada just had this whole scandal where it turns out they had like an insurance policy to pay off women that their players were raping, essentially.
Jesus.
And they're all like, yeah, it's cost of doing business, whatever. They're hockey players. What do you expect them to do? And like, this whole thing, it's dozens, hundreds, cascades, maybe it's thousands of people who are carrying around these receipts. They've got the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
If you had an abortion as a result of the urging of an elected Republican official, you definitely kept your paperwork.
But that's the other thing. I think the other thing is that, like we were saying before, would it matter? The idea of whether or not it would matter will probably play into that as well.
I think so. There, I think, is what you've hit the nail on the head. Is that these people, every other instance where they've been caught in doing the thing that they are slamming or fighting against or whatever, they just shake it off and go like, it doesn't matter. I don't care. And their voters, who are in this cult-like trance, just go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I voted for Trump because he respects women. You fucking serious? And they're wearing a Trump that bitch shirt.
Exactly.
They just don't care. Speaking of don't care.
And the thing is, I think the reality of the Dobbs decision is already permeating the culture that it's not like another thing is going to cause that shift to
but the difference is there's going to be thousands of people who are going to die as a result of this.
Absolutely.
And I think that it was safe for people who wanted to pretend that they were anti-abortion, but could, as long as they could get their own abortions if they needed them, or get their, mistresses' abortions if they needed them, to vote that way.
Yeah.
But now the lid is off. And they can't do that. And so now it's going to be, cycle after cycle of like, I'm pro-life. Here's several receipts where you didn't seem to be.
This is just a bit of a bigger thing. But can you imagine like a state that can go back and forth between Republican and Democratic governors and abortion clinics opening back up
and closing,
and then having to close, and then opening and then closing?
Our state. I think that's entirely likely for the Commonwealth. Speaking of the Commonwealth, which Virginia plays a bit of a role in this, the other thing that started off this week that's relevant to the coup is that the Oath Keepers trial kicked off. Stuart Rhodes, who is the Yale-educated, I guess technically lawyer, who runs the Oath Keepers, he's on trial with 4 co-conspirators for their attempt to overthrow the government. They've been charged with seditious conspiracy, which almost nobody ever gets tried for because it's so rare
for it to be done on a level where they're actually tried for it.
Yeah, but these guys, they definitely did it. So, and they're not even like disputing the facts of it.
We saw it on television.
Yeah, they're not disputing the facts of it. They're not in court saying like, well, that wasn't us and we didn't do it. What they're disputing is whether the law exists or not. And so, okay, they're caught dead to right. They've got, RVs full of weapons and hand grenades. Weird thing about the RV full of grenades, they're like, look, you can't say that we put the grenades in there. A lot of people use this RV, including our dog. And they're like, wait a minute. Are you saying your dog is going to...
Are you blaming the dog
for hand grenades? It doesn't even have opposable thumbs. Your dogs. Yeah, Molly, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little shady.
They're shady.
Yeah, but can't trust huskies. But, especially UW. But anyway, like... They're blaming their dogs, and these.
This is on the level of Herschel Walker going, "I sent money to lots of people."
Yeah, it's just
remember the Simpsons where Ned Flanders being chased by it's the Listen Lady episode.
Yes,
Donnie's Discount Gas. They go there. Donnie, did you see a guy being chased by 3 teenage hoodlums? I see lots of stuff. Did you see that? Yeah.
Speaking of The Simpsons.
Oh, my God, the Fetterman thing?
The Fetterman thing.
Oh, my God, that's genius.
So if anybody knows Charlie and I, they know that one of the things we absolutely love is The Simpsons.
Hi, everybody.
So as it turns out, the Fetterman campaign also loves The Simpsons, and they made a supercut of Dr. Oz and Dr. Nick Rivera basically saying exactly the same thing.
You've been accused among among the most grievous things you've been accused of is performing an operation with a knife and fork. But I clean them with my napkin.
Right. So maybe we can see if Brian can find this ad to play during the break. Maybe not this break. I don't know. Is this the one where we're supposed to play your thing? No, we can play it during this break. So while we finish talking about the Oath Keepers, if Brian can find that clip, that would be really fantastic. We'll see. It's the Fetterman Dr. Oz. Just Google it.
Dr. Nick, yeah.
Or, yeah, Dr. Nick.
I love that they included call 1-600-DOCTOR.
Yeah.
The B is for bargain.
So the Oath Keepers, they're guilty dead to right.
Yeah.
They're not disputing the facts of the case. They're just arguing that they were legally entitled to do what they did because they were
Because they
wanted to play revolution guy. They even had guns like in Roslyn that they were gonna quote sail across the Potomac. They were gonna put them in rowboats and row them across the Potomac.
They're gonna bump into the high school rowing teams that are going down there.
That's exactly what we talked about. I was on the crew team. You can't easily row across. It doesn't work that way. If they had only waited until the gondolas from Roslyn were available. Where were they even gonna get boats? Like, you can't even put in on that side of the river.
There's no place in Roslyn to go out of.
To put in. There's no docks. There's nothing there. There's like a steep fucking cliff is what there is, and the TR Bridge. That's it. Why not just drive, you idiots? So, like, they're clearly wanted to play Washington and Trenton and all the guys. I mean, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. They were ready to kill Mike Pence. That was also in the trial. They're like, yeah, we were going to kill Mike Pence, and that's fine. Trump told us to do it, and he's the president, so it's all legal.
That is the thing that I actually have found astounding with this whole January, is how many people have actually said, Trump told us to be here.
So that's where I want to get with this. What's the politics of this? If these guys...
It's not politics. It's cult behavior.
If these guys get thrown in prison, for a decade or 20, like... Does anybody go, all right, that's it. I don't want to end up like them. I'm out.
The people within the movement?
Yeah. Does it shake anybody out?
Very, very few. My guess is that the ones that are, if they haven't gotten out by now,
they're in for life.
They are going to be in for a long time.
And what are we going to do with them?
You got me on that one.
I have a solution. You want to know my solution?
No. It's not ethnic cleansing.
No, it's not exactly ethnic cleansing.
Okay.
We set up a little fake town in one of those square states that nobody's using.
Okay.
I don't know, Nebraska.
That sounds right.
We put several blockbusters.
I'm already loving this.
And these people are hired to work at the blockbusters and or rent the movies at the blockbusters.
It's like their own version of the Truman Show,
yes.
kind of.
And you just sort of like... control what tapes they can rent because it's only tapes.
It's only VHS.
Yeah, and they have to stay in there and
And it's all and it's mostly foreign films.
Yeah, sure, with subtitles that they can be mad about.
The 1-inch barrier.
Why do I have to read? And it's all in 4:3 format too.
Oh God.
Is this a reasonable solution? It's not exactly ethnic cleansing.
I think it's one of the better solutions that I could think.
They can have a friendlies. We should open them up a friendlies.
Okay, yeah. No, that makes it okay.
Yeah. It's humane. It's good treatment. They were putting us in barges off of Gitmo. Again, why the barges and not just in Gitmo, I don't know, but that was their solution. At least we're giving you Blockbuster. When we unmake your world. Okay, Brian, do you have the clip queued up? He thinks he does. All right, we're gonna go to a break and show you the current campaign ad from soon-to-be Senator from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman. We hope. You're listening to Chip Chat on RIP Radio Network.
Diet, you can eat all you want, anytime you want.
And you'll lose weight?
You might. It's a free country.
I've got the #1 miracle in a bottle to burn your fat.
Lose fat without diet or exercise?
Stubborn stomach fat instantly disappears.
I recommend a slow, steady gorging process combined with acid horizontology.
Garcinia cambogia extract.
Crystal sonic therapy.
C. buckthorn.
Dr. Nick, this malpractice committee has received a few complaints against you.
Dr. Oz being sued for advice he gave to viewers who struggle falling asleep. Dr. Oz is being accused of promoting quack treatments by some top physicians.
Are you looking for a way to slash the cost of your medical expenses?
How much did you pay for a pill that takes your body back 10 years?
Call 1-600-DOCTORB. The B is for bargain.
His empire and wealth have flourished.
The most rewarding part was when he gave me my money. Bye-bye, everybody!
Welcome back to Chip Chat here on Rip Radio Network. I'm your host, Chip. With me tonight is Charlie.
Howdy.
There's our guest. Our guest has arrived. As many people know, Hurricane Ian has devastated much of Florida and some of the Carolinas, the ones that people care about anyway.
The beach ones.
Yeah. And the result of it is the result of an ever increasing intensity of storms due to warming waters and stronger energy transfers. It's climate change is what it is. It's making things much worse. It's impacting some of the people most confused about what's actually going on with climate change, namely the governors of Florida and the Carolinas, all of which don't seem to understand what is climate change, or they understand it and just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We tried to get Governor Ron Desantis on the line to talk to us, but he was too busy auditioning for the lead role in Kiki Boots, which I am not making up. If you have not had the opportunity to see Ron Desantis, he's probably
different demented Ron.
Yeah.
Don Johnson.
Yeah. DeSantis's boots have been the internet meme of the century. And I want to be clear that the green M&M thing is at the heart of this.
Oh, God, that's great.
Because, you know, Tucker was very upset that the green M&M lost her sexy boots.
Yeah, yep.
And now Ron DeSantis put them on.
He knew it.
And you know what's going to happen. Tucker's going to try to fuck Ron DeSantis.
Whether he likes it or not.
That's right. It's locker room talk. Anyway, we couldn't get Ron DeSantis. But we could get his brother. We have the next best thing. We have Eamon DeSantis, the praying mantis, here with us. Now, you may remember he was here previously.
I think back in August.
Yeah, in
August of 21.
Of 21, when he made his debut for the Nats.
Yeah, with Victor Robles, right?
Yeah, Victor Robles. He was on Victor Robles' hat and played a whole inning.
Yep.
Did pretty well. Got a single on his at-bat, you know. Way to go.
And then was still, didn't he stay on him for another inning also?
Yeah, he was there for a while.
Yeah.
He was pretty famous. Eamon DeSantis, the praying mantis.
Yeah.
And we had him on the show. We published a clip of it earlier this week so that everybody could get familiar. Well, we needed an expert. We called him back. Eamon DeSantis, the praying mantis, welcome back to Chip Chat.
Oh, well, I am just overjoyed with this right now. Thank you so much, Chip.
All right, so Eamon, the last time you were here was because of your main profession, which of course is baseball. So how did the season go for you?
Well, it's been rough. I love playing the game, but this team is not doing it for me. I mean, 65-97 last season, and now 55-107 this season. I think it's safe to say that I'm exploring my options at this point. I've been looking at the LA Angels and even Oakland, but at this point, I'd probably go anywhere, even God forbid Phoenix, or even more God forbid the Mets.
Well, the Mets are in the playoffs at least, so it's good for them. All right, so like your brother Ron, you were born in Jacksonville. So in general, how has Florida fared through this hurricane?
You know, I'm not sure why more people don't realize this, but Florida is going to be here for a long time. We'll all be dead and gone, and Jacksonville will still be standing with a bunch of cockroaches and several Walmart greeters who just won't die.
Florida or not.
But it's done okay through this storm. The storm missed the Panhandle, or as I call it, the Rodeo Drive of mobile homes. So those people are all fine. But Florida also has its own natural defense mechanisms. I mean, did you notice how quickly it started losing strength once it started getting on land?
Yeah,
That's Florida's natural defense of sucking and draining the life out of everything that enters its borders.
Jesus. All right. What do you think that the federal or national response should be to help the folks in Florida there?
You know, ideally, it would be to saw the state off from the country and then push it into the Atlantic like that Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Right, sure.
But, you know, that way it can become its own nation and be another cruise ship destination, which is basically what it is now. We're getting a lot of supplies we need from FEMA and charity organizations, but there are some lesser known things that Florida needs. For instance, South Beach needs an emergency shipment of Go-Go Boys for their clubs.
Oh, of course.
I'm pretty sure there's some clubs in West Hollywood that can help with that, but those people in South Beach need their smooth, hairless white dancers and jock straps. West Palm Beach needs an emergency influx of bagels.
Of course.
And Tampa needs an emergency influx of marriage counselors because we can't lose Tom and Giselle.
Oh, my God. Speaking of go-go dancers, how do you like your brother's boots?
Oh, honey, that is a whole other thing.
How many boots do you wear, Eamon? Are you like just on your back legs, or is it all four? Or like
the trouble is getting them in my size. You know, but I got about 3 good pairs of boots.
Okay. Any of them with the fur?
So one of them is the one with the fur.
Yes, of course. All right, noted. Floridian T-Pain. Your brother, he decided he was willing to accept the socialism of FEMA. How did that go?
Well, that bottom-feeding parasite?
Yes.
Well, of course he's going to accept it because it ain't going to hurt him politically. He might have some trepidation if there's a specific FEMA agent who tries to deliver aid to a public school with her black vegan sculptor/historian wife by her side. But otherwise, he should be fine. Let me tell you, there are only 4 things Ron won't accept. Babies disposed in medical waste bins.
Sure.
Gift cards as a birthday/Christmas present.
Naturally.
Indian food.
Right.
And constructive fashion advice. And this goes back to your last question about him in the boots.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's why this whole don't say gay horse shit started in the first place. He's resentful that he doesn't have a natural keen sense of fashion, so he's taking it out on the most fashionable community in the state.
Naturally. That's
as you do.
Yes. And the most fashionable community in the state is, of course, the Florida Crackers.
Well, that is a very specific subset of gay twinks in South Beach.
Okay,
but yes,
that's right.
They're salty.
Oh, my God. This is maybe a little personal, I guess, but, you are in Florida. You are, of a certain age. We have to ask, has Matt Gaetz tried to touch you?
He was going to, but then he found out that in human years, I'm above the age of consent.
Oh,
which he called, quote, more of a boner killer than a nude Desby Wasserman Schultz.
Oh,
unquote.
my God.
It's probably for the best because of that boy's hair. It's not that it's unattractive, but you know that if that coif hits your body at the wrong angle, it will physically damage your body. That thing pokes you in the wrong place, and you'll probably catch some form of genital warts.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought genital warts was Matt Gaetz' nickname. All right, so...
it's his portrait.
Yes, right. Eamon, before we let you go, because we know you have to go back and, help rebuild your state, is there anything you'd like to tell the listening public?
We love your... This is one thing where we will take your prayers, but we'll also take your money. Just make sure you go through charity and not through Governor Desantis' slush fund.
Right, of course.
To target unwed mothers and lesbians.
Yes! No aid for lesbians. That's the official statement of...
Not in Florida.
Not in Florida. Well, you can't say lesbians in Florida.
That's right.
As we said last week, we feel like all of the federal aid should be administered by Mayor Pete and his husband.
I am down for that.
That would be hilarious.
Eamon, are you down with that?
Amen.
Oh, totally. Because we all know that Chasten is the real star of that couple.
I feel like that's very... I want to have a beer with Chasten. I know it would have to be like a cocktail or something.
No, it's Cosmos.
Okay, fine. But I'm guessing you know them because,
the cabal.
Yeah, all of you know each other. But, do you think... let's just say we were hanging out, you and me with Mayor Pete and Chasten. Who's going to get along with who?
I think I would get along with both.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
We both of us have a lot in common.
Because I'll bond with Chasten about pop culture and music and shit.
Yeah, I don't know shit about that. And
Pete will be all political.
He's so wonky though.
Oh yeah.
But he's such a nerd. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah, no, it's like he was physically made in a factory for this kind of thing.
He's really perfect.
Yes.
It's too bad he's married. Sorry,
God.
Charlie. I'm angling for you.
I know. I don't know. I'd go with either one of them.
Could you really?
Yeah, they're both very cute.
They're very cute.
Yeah.
Although very small. They're both, 5'5" or something like that.
Well, I am more of a dominant guy. So
is that a thing?
Yeah.
All right, well. Hey, I'm not an expert, but I would like to have a beer with either one. So, or several. I don't know. Mayor Pete, call us. All right, Eamon Desantis, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a break and play a clip from something that happened, a couple weeks ago?
About a month ago.
About a month ago.
The Emmys were last month, and this is the acceptance speech of the decade for any award show.
Nothing can top this.
This is one of the most incredible things you'll ever see.
This is really one of the most incredible things.
You watched it?
Yeah, you've seen some incredible shit on this show. So, woo! All right, we're going to take a break. Eamon Desantis, the Praying Mantis, thank you so much for joining us. You're listening to Chip Chat on RIP Radio Network.
Goes to Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Endangered species, but I sing no victim song. I am a woman, I am an artist, and I know where my voice belongs. To anyone who has ever had a dream and thought your dream wouldn't, couldn't come true, I am here to tell you that this is what believing looks like. This is what striving looks like. And don't you ever give up on you, because if you get a Quinta Brunson in your corner, if you get a husband like mine in your corner, if you get children like mine in your corner, and if you've got friends like everybody who voted for me, cheered for me, love me, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. So the Emmys happened.
Yeah, the Emmys happened, and
we couldn't work out the schedule. We were off actually when the Emmys happened. The show was off, so we couldn't schedule you on.
And then I flew. Then
you
were
Los busy Angeles, out there being, a fancy Hollywood reporter guy.
Damn right.
So what happened at the Emmys? Did I win one?
Not that I saw. Are you a producer on Succession?
Yes, of course. Well,
okay. Well, then you'll get yours. Will be in the mail. Yours will be in the mail.
My whole synagogue was.
It was interesting. We had the ceremony. First of all, was garbage. It was not good. The weird thing about it is that the saving grace for me were the winners.
Yeah,
because usually there are like a couple winners that make me angry because I'm all invested in this type of thing. But this one, I was fine with all the winners. Succession won drama series again. Matthew McFadden won supporting actor, who's very well liked on that show. And then you also had Zendaya winning her second one for Euphoria.
Yeah.
Euphoria exploded at the Emmys this year. The first year it only got maybe 4 or 5 nominations. It's 16 nominations this year, including drama series.
Also, she's MJ in the Spider-Man.
Exactly, yeah. So she is the real deal.
Oh,
she's the real deal. This is her second one. She won 2 years ago at the Zoom Emmys that were at the height of the pandemic. And then we also saw, but also what was notable in drama, Squid Game claiming 2 big awards, including Lee Jung-jae for lead actor in a drama and directing for a drama for, I believe, I don't remember how it's Hong Dong-hyuk, I believe, the creator of the show. And Squid Game is one of those shows that is I held off on watching it for a long time, but then a month before the Emmys, I finally decided, okay, I'm going to watch it. I flew through that thing in a day. It's so good. It's so good.
I wish I had that kind of time. I have children.
Oh, man. If you ever get the time to just maybe watch a couple episodes.
You want to borrow some children?
No.
It's the reason Charlie lives the life he does.
Exactly. And then we also saw Julia Garner won supporting actress for Ozark. It's her 3rd time winning, and I'm happy she won because they did her character dirty. Ozark had one of the worst finales I've ever seen.
Worse than The Sopranos?
The Sopranos one is brilliant.
People hate that.
Some hate it, but some really like it.
I didn't watch the show.
The Ozark finale was just terrible. It was terrible.
Did Michael Bluth end up winning or whatever?
No, but he won a couple of years ago in the directing category out of nowhere. And Jason Bateman's face when he won that, he was like,
was his speech amazing though? Because I can guess that ad lib Jason Bateman is. Pretty solid.
It was a decent speech. It was a decent speech.
He's a funny guy.
Oh yeah, he's a very funny guy.
So who hosted the Emmys this year?
Kenan Thompson hosted. Kenan hosted this year.
Guy's been on SNL for 17 years.
For almost 20 years.
25 years. And it's a long time.
Yeah, I just wish he did a better job. But again, it's
come on.
He opened the thing with a dance number.
Oh, you mean as far as the Emmys? I was going to be like, Kenan's so good on SNL. What are you talking about?
Kenan's fantastic on SNL. Kenan is absolutely fantastic.
I like that whole category of Kenan as game show host.
Yeah.
Because they had this whole category of Hader as game show host.
Oh, yeah. And
but then, Kenan as game show host is one of my favorite.
And, of course, Black Jeopardy is one of the best.
Black Jeopardy's great. But, anything where he's, the host and he does it so well.
Yeah, he does.
I love Kenan.
Yeah. But,
where's Kel?
Yeah. Kel,
he has a show in Cheddar. I know. Yeah, I saw that.
Cameo. That was so cool to see Kenan and Kel back together again.
It's cute.
But then we got to the comedy side, Ted Lasso, which is a show I absolutely
Didn't they win a ton of awards?
It won 4, including comedy series again. It won lead actor for Jason Sudeikis.
Another SNL guy.
Supporting actor for Brett Goldstein, showing that Jews can be really fucking tough if they want to be.
It turns out. Don't fuck with the IDF.
And then, but the other big one was Abbott Elementary, which we saw Sheryl Lee Ralph winning.
They swept though, didn't they win like 15 awards or something like that?
They won 3.
Okay, that's a lot.
And you had the creator and star of the show, Quinta Brunson, winning writing, Sheryl Lee Ralph, and also won casting, which was a big thing. And
we have a local connection to that.
Really?
Lisa Ann Walter.
Yes.
She's a local girl.
Really?
She's a big Washington football team fan. I kind of know her a little bit. So
she's so good on that show.
I know. Well, she had been working a long time she was in Parent Trap. If you remember the Lindsay
Almighty,
Lohan,
she was,
and Bruce Almighty, and she'd been doing a lot of stand up and stuff. And then this show came along, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to take it. And then bam.
Yeah, and this show
is just unstoppable.
This show is it's so good. And I have a feeling it's going to be a front runner next year for comedy because it's
so DC kids doing big stuff.
Yep. And then you also had Jean Smart winning her second for Hacks for lead actress in a comedy, which is great because Jean Smart's just so great on that show.
She's
plays
so
like
smart.
She is. She really is.
It's a bad joke. I'm sorry.
And she's just wonderful on every level. And then the limited series, you had The White Lotus, this one from HBO.
Right. Then they win a bunch of stuff.
They won a ton of stuff. Mike White, who created the thing, won for series, writing, and directing. I think he's the first former Survivor contestant to win.
That's crazy.
He was on both.
That's a category of people.
He was on both the Survivor, like
the Survivor,
like I'm 75 or something like that. The Survivor and The Amazing Race.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, he was on both, and he actually referenced that in one of his speeches. He was like, he said like, when I'm on Survivor, I was on Survivor, and I always feel like I'm the guy. I want to be the guy who's not roughing anything up. You know, who's just standing in the background.
So he was a contestant.
But he's been a writer for a long time. Like, he co-wrote School of Rock. He wrote School of Rock.
So how did he end up as a contestant on Survivor?
I don't know. Maybe he I think there's probably like some income thing? There's like an income thing or something. I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
It's weird, but
TV is a weird place.
You also had Murray Bartlett winning supporting actor from the show, and the Queen Jennifer Coolidge winning supporting actress.
Yeah,
her first major showbiz award, and they played her off.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That was like a big.
I know
fight,
a lot of people thought it was funny because like she was like
she didn't go. She was
like doing a dance.
Yeah,
but I that hurts me because it's like you do not play off Jennifer Coolidge. She is a queen. Do not do that. No. And then Michael Keaton won an Emmy as well for lead actor in a limited series for Dope Sick,
right?
Which was he was really, really good, and they filmed in Richmond.
Yeah,
everyone who I interviewed from that project was like, Richmond is such an awesome city. We love it here.
I mean, we can't. I gotta agree.
And then
great tacos.
And then a lead actress went to Amanda Seyfried for The Dropout, where she played Elizabeth Holmes, the woman from that Theranos company, which she's incredible in. She's amazing.
Do you think the real Elizabeth Holmes is mad that she got like an Emmy for like portraying her?
I don't know.
And she's in prison.
She is weird.
She's weird.
And
she's in prison.
And so I have no idea whether we
should get her on the show. Get her on the show, Charlie.
I'll say what I can do.
We can pay for the collect call. Feel like the Adnan Syed thing, you know?
And then you also had Saturday Night Live winning variety sketch show again, which is weird because at the Creative Arts ceremony, it lost directing and editing to a Black Lady sketch show,
right? Which was up against,
it was its only competition, but somehow SNL still won, which sucks for me. I think Black Lady sketch show is so great.
It's pretty funny.
It's amazing. Robin Thede has this great character.
She's going to take over the Daily Show.
Robin Thede?
Yes.
Have they announced that?
No,
I'm just guessing. She would be great.
I know everybody wants this to happen.
And then
Alec Berry was the first one to say it, by the way. I don't get credit for that.
And then you also had Last Week Tonight with John Oliver won for its 7th year in a row, but I don't mind it because it's good.
It is. I watch it every Monday.
They know what they're doing.
I watch the main segment every Monday on YouTube, just like everybody else does, because I don't have HBO.
I get high and watch the program the next day.
Have HBO. I don't have.
And then one of the biggest upsets came in the reality category. RuPaul's Drag Race loses after winning for 3-4 years in a row to Lizzo. Lizzo's Watch for the Big Girls. She is, or as I was saying during the Creative Arts thing, watch for the big girls.
Hey, look, I'm a fan.
I love her.
I've recently had to go to Minneapolis for a lot of stuff for work, which sucks because it's cold there.
Yeah.
But everything about music in Minneapolis is it's hard to wrap your head around. And, you know, DC's got like a strong music tradition, but we don't have Prince and Lizzo.
Yeah.
You know, like that's hard to compete with. We've got Duke Ellington and Chuck Brown, but it's not Prince and Lizzo.
Yeah, no.
And they loom so large out there, and they're just everywhere, and I'm so happy because I feel like, you know, and also my kids love Lizzo.
How can you not? She is so great.
The girls love her, and I'm so proud. I'm so happy to see her.
Yeah, she's halfway to an EGOT.
Yeah, it's true.
She's got an Emmy and a Grammy. It's not that hard.
Well, and she should get something for breaking male white fragility.
Oh God,
with the flute.
Oh my God, was that not
fucking
like
glass
so
flute?
Was that not great to watch?
Who's so mad about that?
I'm like, first of all, I didn't even know you could make a flute out of crystal.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed about that.
Not only that it is playable
and in tune.
Yeah,
right. Because
after 200 years,
there's glass instruments that look nice, but you can't really play them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like she could play it.
Yeah,
like wow,
and she rocked the damn thing.
So mad, Tucker.
So that was the Emmys.
They just love her boots,
and it was fun. And we.
So when are you hosting?
I am hoping to host next year.
Yeah.
I have been putting myself out there, whoring myself out to as many people as I can, trying to make sure I suck the right dick.
We should try to work out a deal where we have you on air while the Emmys are on, hosting it as if you were hosting it. We could probably make that happen.
That would be insane.
We have an entire radio network.
That would be insane, but I think it's an insanity that I kind of want to watch.
There you go. Brian, get to work on that. Okay.
He has to get in there first.
Without further ado, we are going to bring on Brian, who is the white guy on this network, by the way. This is a black radio network with one white guy on it. It's Brian. And we're going to have him fill in for Tez. Now, the deal here is that Tez has sworn off the NFL for a few years. Mm-hmm. And has decided that this year he is going to make uninformed picks about games each week.
Okay.
And usually what happens is Tez makes the pick, Brian tells him what the actual line is, and we make fun of him for not knowing things and stuff like that.
As you should.
As we do. Now, we were going to make you do that, but I informed Tez that, of course, you actually watch football a lot. And so the three of us...
in 2 fantasy leagues.
Yeah, all three of us are wildly unqualified.
And now I'm having to watch Russell Wilson bomb.
Well, this is an abysmal game. Let's not talk about what's going on. This has a collective score right now of 15. If you bet the over/under on this game, Denver and Indy, if you bet the under, you're gonna win. Like this is nuts.
I've seen 2 primetime Bronco games. How can you get worse? This is just horrible.
This is another.
This is Washington level.
Yeah, this is another argument for relegation in the NFL. Should adopt soccer rules.
Which I only know what that means because of Ted Lasso.
Bama should become an NFL team. Denver and DC should be shunted back down to, like, I don't know, the SEC. All right.
Shoot, that's too good for
Yeah, it's too good for us right now.
No, ACC.
We could probably win in the Sun Belt. Yeah. So, all right. So, Ted's made some picks last week. So, Brian's going to recap those picks and see how badly he bombed.
Well, one of the picks he took back.
He should have kept.
Because Minnesota was facing New Orleans in
London, and he
hated the stadium they were playing in.
He didn't want to pick that game because they were playing in Tottenham Stadium, and he's a Gunners guy, so he absolutely hates everything that has to do with Spurs. That derby turned out to be a great game, by the way. It was a good game.
Wow,
and the Manchester derby, not so good. Right. City absolutely destroyed United. It was hilarious.
So, he should have kept it. You know, he
got it right, but he pulled it back.
So he decided to pick Dallas and Washington first, and ended up getting that one right. Got Dallas.
He picked Dallas.
Yes.
Shocker.
Here's the other ones he had right. He had the New Jersey, the green New Jersey beating Pittsburgh. So he got that right. And he got Arizona over Carolina right. The ones he got wrong, this Denver team that we're watching, beating Vegas.
They lost to Oakland. Oakland got their first win.
Yeah, got their first win. He picked
in Vegas.
You're adamantly still calling them Oakland?
I never fixed that. I didn't even learn it when they were in L.A. They were still Oakland. They've been Oakland for like 50 years.
Are you still calling them San Diego and St. Louis?
100%. Well, no. The Rams is the Rams.
It's still in the song, man. San Diego, supercharged.
I never learned that they moved to St. Louis. They're still the Rams.
Not even when they won the fucking Super Bowl?
That's the Kurt Warner Rams. They're not the St. Louis Rams. It's different.
All right. Speaking of the Rams.
Yeah.
He did pick the Rams.
Yeah.
But they lost.
They did.
He also picked my Ravens to pick the Bills, but that was a fourth quarter blowout.
Josh Allen.
And then he picked picked Chicago over the New Jersey Blue team. So the New Jersey Blue. So he was 3-4 last week.
Okay. All right. So he sent us picks this week.
Yes, this week.
All right. We got to get the bell ready because this is Tez's segment. So let's see how he does.
All right. So he first pick. Let's see, based off of what I'm seeing here, is Jacksonville against Houston.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, holy shit.
But here's the thing. Jacksonville
Can we root for the turf?
Right. But Jacksonville has been playing well, surprisingly.
Yeah.
They have a
Sunshine won a game.
Yes. So he has a Super Bowl winning coach on their team. So
that's true.
He picks Jacksonville over Houston. And Jacksonville is 7-point favorite. So
he got it right. All right. So according to the line, let's see what happens.
Next game he picked is Chicago and Minnesota, and he chose the Bears over the Vikings. So one team won last week. He's going against Minnesota.
I think he's got something against Kirk Cousins and the Vikes.
Yes. So,
all right.
And surprise enough, the Vikings are 7.5 favorites.
7.5?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes, that's
how bad is that division?
It's just bad.
I mean, it's as bad as ours.
Garbage.
All right, next game is, again, he's picking the New Jersey teams. New Jersey Green against Miami without Tua.
So he's got that one right.
So he's picking the Green.
Jets.
Yeah, and they're 3.5 underdogs.
Really? So Miami minus Tua is still favored to beat the Jets. Are they playing in New Jersey or are they playing in Miami?
In Jersey.
They are home underdogs against a Miami team with no quarterback.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
They got Teddy Bridgewater, right?
Okay, moving along.
I almost picked him up.
Next is the homegrown Washington, whatever you want to call them today, against the Tennessee Titans.
What the fucks?
Yeah, Titans haven't been playing very well.
No.
And Washington, we know they haven't been playing
We're
well.
terrible.
So, but smartly enough, I believe Tez picked the right team, Tennessee, and they are 1.5 favorites.
Chase is supposed to be back this week. You think he can bottle up Derrick Henry?
Who?
Chase Young?
I don't know who that is. I haven't been watching anything about it. I don't.
Or who Chase Young is?
I am actively avoiding Washington, and I have been for several years.
I'm trying. I'm just not good at it.
Yeah,
I can't break free from this.
I can't break free.
I'm terrible.
I sympathize with you, man, because it sucks.
It does suck.
It sucks.
Everything about the team sucks.
Yep.
We can't win. Our owner is the worst. Our team is racist.
And now we're gonna.
It's awful.
And now we're gonna have an awful new stadium in Prince William County or something.
Maybe I don't. I'm still not going. All right, so he's picking against. All right, got it.
This is a big game too.
Okay.
Arizona against Philly. It's in Arizona.
Jalen Hurts versus Kyler Murray.
And this is surprising.
It's in Philly.
Tez is gambling. He's gambling big.
He's picking Arizona.
And Arizona are 5-point underdogs.
Cosign. Kyler's due. Hurt has been on fire. Cannot stay. He cannot stay lit for that long. He's gonna have to look. He cannot keep throwing these passes to Julia Ertz's husband all the time. It's eventually gonna break down. Right. And they're playing in Arizona, I thought. They're in Phoenix. Yeah.
So we'll see. So
Tempe. Sorry.
Yes. And of course, I believe this.
Wait, is it not in Phoenix? I thought
it's in Arizona.
Yeah, it's in Tempe. Or Flagstaff, sorry, not Tempe. They moved from Tempe to Flagstaff. They built the new stadium.
But they still, that's why they call them Arizona.
Well, they were the Phoenix Cardinals. Yeah. The St. Louis Cardinals. See, that's the real St. Louis Cardinals. Yeah.
Good.
All right, lastly, I think this is Ted's sure pick, but it depends on if Patrick Mahomes plays like Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs, Vegas is picking the Chiefs, 7-point favorite, so that's like, to me,
I mean, that's a big rivalry, right? You're talking AFC West, Oakland, KC.
That goes back decades.
This thing is a...
But here's surprisingly enough, if you ever seen the NFL's top 10, among their top 10, in that game, their rivalry is not the best rivalry.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's like...
Everyone's a lot of
Oakland, KC is up there with like, Washington, Dallas. Like, that's...
they're not in there either.
That's ridiculous.
What?
Well, fuck this list, then.
That's
it's obviously stupid.
No, that's a stupid
What are they paying attention to, like, the Jets in Miami? Like, that's a fake rivalry. That's stupid.
That is surprising if that's in there.
They want to know about Denver and San Diego.
So,
New Orleans and Atlanta, the real rivalry.
Minnesota and Seattle.
Right. I mean, like, I'll grant you, Minnesota and Detroit, that's a big deal, right? Green Bay, Minnesota is
Chicago.
That's Green Bay, Chicago. Like, that whole NFC North is just a blister pack of destruction. I'll give you that.
All right. I'll tell you this.
KC and Oakland is not on the list of top 10 rivalries?
Not on it. I'll ask you this question. Which do you believe is the number one rivalry in the NFL?
In the NFL? It's not Washington and Dallas?
Nope. They're not even on the list.
That's like, honestly, I can't even really... I mean, Green Bay and Chicago, maybe.
Green Bay and Minnesota?
That's not the number one?
They're not number one.
I can't even imagine.
Hold on. I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's got to be something like Patriots and Bills or something like that. I don't
Maybe
know.
like Steelers and Ravens.
Nope.
That's it.
Number 6.
Or like the Browns and Cincy or something like that. I don't know.
There's no team called
Here we
the
go.
Browns.
This is
The Philadelphia Eagles.
no. Already know.
And
Wait a minute. Already know. They don't have any real rivals. They're like the division member that we all forgot is even in our division. Who the fuck cares about Philadelphia?
Well, just for the audience to let them know.
And the
Philadelphia
Giants?
and the New York Football Giants.
That's stupid. This rivalry doesn't even exist. Look, if you're ever in a room with people in the NFC East, right, which is likely, you can come to some agreement. If you ask a Washington fan and a Philly fan who sucks, they'll say Dallas. And if you ask a Philly fan and a New York fan who sucks, they'll say Dallas. That's who sucks. Dallas sucks. Nobody gives a shit about the other teams.
You're talking to the wrong person.
Who made this list?
The NFL, whoever.
Well, they're
talked
idiots.
To, a bunch of writers and all that stuff.
They probably have
Even a lot of
CTE.
them
That's
were
why they
questioning
can't.
about it, but anywho.
They've got concussions. All right. Speaking of sports ball, Yankees, a team I don't like.
America's team.
Yeah, but that guy Aaron Judge, he hit 62.
Yeah,
he broke the record.
Yep,
he broke the real record. He broke Roger Maris's record, and I'm gonna tell everybody because this is our show. If you want to bring up Barry Bonds, you can go stick it in your juicer.
Or Mark McGwire.
Or any Sosa, any of those guys. It's all fake. None of that stuff counts. But Judge, he counts. The guy is built like a defensive end and he plays baseball. Like, look at how far he hits the ball. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
This is one of these records that I didn't think I would ever live to see without drugs. Like I was wrapped up in it when McGwire and Sosa were in the race. I was counting all the runs.
Oh, it's
but I didn't know.
Invigorated baseball.
Yeah, but I was totally fooled by this. I didn't believe that these guys were juicing. Like Palmeiro told everybody it wasn't me.
McGwire was juicing.
Well, I didn't want to believe it, so I was trying, whatever. But now this is legit.
Okay.
Brian's got thoughts.
I've had thoughts, and I hate the asterisk and all that stuff. Is like, look, before the Major League Baseball banned all that stuff and everything, these were legit. And let's be honest here, if they were or were not juiced up, you still got to hit that ball.
I'm not taking anything away from that.
Okay.
But Barry making contact and making a double versus making a into the bay home run, that's what the drugs did.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, 100% sure about that. It's not that they made his hand-eye coordination better or his bat speed better.
He was playing at Candlestick before they went to AT&T or whatever they were.
I understand. We're talking about single season.
But still, especially...
And he wasn't booming home. He wasn't hitting more than 30 a year at Candlestick.
I know that.
Because nobody was hitting like that until he got the drugs.
Wasn't him. The most he ever hit was was pretty much in the 40s.
Who, Hank?
Hank.
Yeah, but he wasn't... I mean, he was just grinding it.
I know.
And Hank's numbers are higher now that we can count the Negro League stuff as part of Major League Baseball. So he should get a higher number.
But for Aaron Judd, I mean, mind you, he broke American League record. Done. I get it. And it's like, okay, good for him. He beats the Yankee record. He beats the American League record. That's fine.
Maris's record was legitimate. Bonds' record is tainted. I don't care how you want to color that.
Again,
it'll never sit right. You're never going to tell me. You're never going to tell me or anybody who gives a shit about baseball that somehow Barry Bonds' questionable numbers belong in the same conversation as Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. It doesn't. He doesn't. He's not in that conversation because it's not legitimate. And I liked Barry Bonds. Go to my childhood bedroom. There's a poster of Barry Bonds on the wall right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he looks like me. Mm-hmm. He's not all giant, with his head. This is crazy. It's not a real record. It's got an asterisk. Nobody respects it. Aaron Judge hit the 62. That's a number I didn't think I would ever see in my lifetime. I'm impressed.
Okay.
Whatever.
Besides three other guys before that. Okay.
McGuire?
Sosa?
They don't count.
Okay.
They don't count. They didn't hit that many before they had the PDs.
The Astros didn't win 2017, right?
Huh?
The Astros didn't win 2017, right?
If
we're going there, if you want to put asterisks on a lot of things and take away a lot of things, Astros didn't win 2017, right?
No, they didn't. I think they fucking cheated. Okay. I mean, to this day, the trash tros, they live in a trash can. They cheated.
Okay.
100%. I think that to this day, one of great friends of the show, the Texas Tip, big Astros guy, I will endlessly remind him that they are a bunch of cheaters. And so are the Red Sox, for that matter, because they had a camera there, too. No, that's not baseball. We don't cheat. It's not a thing. I don't cheat at baseball.
I think.
Speaking of cheaters.
Speaking of cheaters, you want to talk about chess? This is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. We all know how to play chess, right?
Yep.
Move the pawns, move the bishops. Knights can jump over things. It's all a big deal. Maybe you castle, maybe you don't. Who knows? Bring your queen out. Not too early. We don't know.
Hey, queen can go anywhere, which is why I identify with
That's right. However, turns out there's a cheating scandal on chess.com. So this kid, and I want to emphasize kid, all of a sudden starts whooping ass on these tournaments on chess.com, like sanctioned tournaments. And he beats these guys with these rankings that are like way higher than his. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't be winning these games. Chess is a kind of a game where, by and large, your ranking is accurate. You're going to get better over time the more you play, but unless, prodigies like leap forward, but they still don't have the depth of experience of the people who have the higher rankings.
Who are like grandmasters.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of what you might call a best play game. No matter what you do, there is a right answer. But whether you or another person can figure out that right answer to a point is pretty limited. Well, computers, it turns out, are great at chess because they can figure out that right answer pretty quickly. Back in the day, not so quickly, but now, very quickly.
Deep Blue?
Yeah, right. And Garry Kasparov and all that stuff. That was how we used to test, is this computer really that smart? Can it beat, a person at chess?
Yep.
Well, there's this kid. What's his name?
Hans Niemann.
Hans Niemann. He was playing against Magnus Carlsen, and he beat him. He's the number one guy. And he's like, that shouldn't have happened. And this kid has a record of cheating. He cheated when he was 12 and when he was 16. But he insists that's behind him now. So they were looking at, like, his moves. And they're like, you're making weird moves that no person on the planet would make. The only way you would know to make these moves is if you've got, like, a computer sitting next to your computer that you're playing on and asking it what to do. You've got a chess engine playing your game for you.
And was that what he was doing?
Yes, that's exactly what he was doing. He had a computer playing the game, so like every move that the other guy made, he would punch it into the computer, and it would tell him what to do, and then he would punch that into his computer, and it would look like he was making the move. But like they analyze the moves, and the same thing that makes the computer really good at chess also makes it really good at analyzing whether the thing you did is, you know, a normal human move or not. And it was like, that doesn't look like a human move. That looks like the kind of move I would have made because I'm a computer. And he's like, no, I am human. I make move. And they're like, we know, buddy. We know.
Human. Now, that's a name I can trust.
Right. So, yeah, he got busted. It's right up there with those fishing guys. Yeah. They were dumping weights in their fish.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I remember
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That was so
like
insane.
a week ago. They're like, we got weights in fish. They started cutting over the fish, dumping out little lead weights.
It's like, dude, it's fucking fishing.
These guys, hey, there's a lot of money in fishing. All right. You hear the music? It means we've come to the end of the show.
Getting played off.
That's true. We want to say thank you to Eamon Desantis, the Praying Mantis, for joining us. We love having you around, Eamon, whenever you're here. Thanks to Charlie for filling in for Tez.
My pleasure.
You did a great job. Thanks for telling us about the Emmys.
Oh, my pleasure on that. Always love spreading Showbiz Awards love.
It's not a thing I know enough about, so that's I count on you literally to fill me in because I honestly I don't even bother. I just let you tell me, and then I feel like I know stuff.
Yeah.
You're my Terry Gross.
And then possibly, maybe even watch one of those things.
It's happened. It has happened once or twice. Thanks to the good folks at One Fresh Pillow for sharing all of our clips this week and making us feel super famous. We want to also send our love and thoughts and prayers. That's what they use.
Our love and our best wishes.
There you go. To the good people of Florida.
Florida or not.
We hope you recover soon. If your prayers actually work, please let us know. We could use them on gun violence. All right. Thanks to our radio partners, Google, SpaceX, Apple Music, Amazon, all those other billionaires. Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on for another week, we assume, although I haven't checked. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Rip Radio for making us sound as smooth as Ho You Fat.
Oh, yeah.
All right, where can everybody get you on the social medias there, Charlie?
You can find my rantings and musings at Charles Bright on Twitter.
There you go. And you can find me and the show on Twitter at ChipChatRR. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. And you can, of course, find us every Thursday night here on Rip Radio Network at 9:30. Most weeks anyway, barring last week or a couple weeks.
If you got the time.
Yeah, tune in. 9:30 Eastern, something Pacific. We don't care about that. All right, I'm Chip. That's Charlie. You've been listening to Chip Chat on Rip Radio Network.